Hello friends, welcome to NSK tutorial. Today the topic is exceptions. What is an exception? Exception is an event which will interrupt normal program execution flow. Exception is the subclass of throwable and throwable is the subclass of object class. Throwable class has two subclasses. One is exception class and error. What happens when exception occurs? When exception occurs, the program execution will stop. How we can proceed with the execution if exception occurs? When exception occurs, if we handle that exception, we can proceed with the execution. But in case of error, when error comes in execution of any program, we cannot handle. If any error occurred, the program will terminate abnormally. The exceptions we can handle and errors we cannot handle. If you see the diagram, we have an object class. This object class has throwable subclass. This throwable subclass has two different subchild classes. One is exception class, another one is error. Again, exception has divided into two types: checked exceptions and unchecked exceptions. Checked exceptions, example IO exception, compile time exceptions. And unchecked exceptions are runtime exceptions. Then before we go into the next step, let's discuss the categories of exceptions. Exceptions are two types. One is built-in exception and user-defined exceptions. What is meant by built-in exception? Built-in exceptions are already available in the Java library. The exceptions, it means the exceptions which are already available, already implemented in the Java class, in Java libraries. Those exceptions are categorized into two types. One is checked and unchecked exception. When checked exceptions will come, when unchecked exceptions will occur. Checked exceptions will occur at compile time. Unchecked exceptions will occur at runtime. How to handle the checked exceptions? When writing any program, Java program, while implementation of any business logic, it is normally we face many errors while implementation of program. Those can be the spelling mistakes, those can be the syntax errors, those can be the checked exceptions. If any checked exception comes, we can see error in the program. While implementation of the any program, we can see the error, and that error we can handle it. When unchecked exception comes, we'll not know while compiling of the program. We know the unchecked exceptions only when execution of the program. Means at runtime only those exceptions will get captured. Checked exceptions, example class not found exception. It means when we are writing any Java program, if we are using other class into the implementation class, if that using class, the other class is not available. Example, if you take an example, I am implementing my business logic in class A. There is some code in class B that I wanted to use. While implementation of class A, to use the code, to use the logic from class B, we need to import that class. When we import that class, if that class is not available within the project library, then we'll face this class not found exception. Then same like input output exception, SQL exception, instantiation exception, interrupted exception, file not found exception. All these exceptions will see detailed programming in next steps. If you see, the next one is unchecked exception, the example null pointer exception. Until we execute of the program, will not know whether we'll face null pointer exception or not. Class cast exception, arithmetic exception, array index out of bound exception, array store exception, illegal thread state exceptions. All these will occur at runtime only. These are checked and unchecked exceptions. In our next session, we'll see how to handle the exceptions. What are the exceptions, how to handle the exception, how many ways we can handle the exceptions, and also we'll see what are the user defined exceptions. Thank you friends. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe.